Everybody, good morning. Golly. Technology is my friend. Sometimes. So, Starbucks, as I kind of mentioned, might get a little upside on the earnings, even though earnings were down. If we could break through this $100 zone, resistance, upside. But if we reject, we might come down and make a lower low. Could be down here. Be pretty ugly. But there you go. So that's a first move down. That's a retrace to 618. Potential A, B, C. Absolutely beautiful correction. Potential also has move up, retrace, higher low, upside potential if we can break out over that 100 area. So which way? Hard to know. Hard to know until we break up or break down. So I missed the earnings per share, beat on revenue. I don't know. Anyway. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss, though. Past performance, not necessarily indicative of future results. Just because I kind of predict them doesn't mean they always come true or, ever come true. I get lucky sometimes. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling anything, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries, stuff from gurus like me. Don't buy stuff if you don't trust me. And if you desire personal financial advice, hire and consult a financial advisor. All right. Today is FOMC day, in case you missed that news flash. Coming up here, 2 p.m. Right there. That's what we got. That's what we got. Statement, Fed funds rate. Now, Robinhood betting pool, they're betting 98%. No rate cut, no rate raise, just hold steady. Jerome Powell, press conference, he starts speaking at 2:30. That lately, the last several, this has been a dud. It's like non-event, but this has been where the market starts moving. They hang on every word, start pushing it up and down, but the whole thing historically is where you got to watch out for. Now, Jerome Powell has been very clear about if he's going to do anything, telegraphing that ahead. He hasn't telegraphed he's doing jack squat, so when we look at it, probably going to keep that Fed funds rate dead flat. Now, do we change it in, I think the next one's in September. Let's jump back up here. I think the next one, nope, not the 3rd, not the 10th. There it is. 17th of September. Right there. So we'll see what happens. Like, that's August, September. I mean, we've got almost, not quite 2 months, but almost 2 months till the next one. 6 weeks, roughly. Or 7 weeks. I don't know. 6 weeks in between, I guess. So, I don't know. I don't have a big feeling either way. I think as long as when we look at this chart right here, which is the 2-year constant maturity rate in blue, as long as the blue is kind of holding steady, I think they hold steady. I don't think they want to cut into that rate. If it starts dropping, I think they may cut. If it starts popping through, which it poked through over here and freaked them out a little bit. If it starts poking through, rate raises are going to be on the table. And that's what nobody's talking about right there. Nobody's talking about a potential rate raise, although somebody drew it on the chart a long time ago, back in 2023, that we might actually have rate raises after a period of relatively flat before we have a financial crisis. So we'll see how that works. Like, timing wise, it looks like we might be in for the start of a financial crisis next year, late this year, next year. But that doesn't leave any room for rate raises before ultimate doom. So we've run out of railroad here. I guess we'll see what happens. Maybe they don't raise rates. Maybe 2-year Treasury goes up and that goes down. That would be wild. 2-year Treasury goes up, but the Fed funds rate goes down to try to, and then they get proven completely ineffective on controlling anything. Wouldn't that be a wild ride? Never seen that before, but that, hey, first time for everything, right? It'd be an interesting situation. So, all my channel members, welcome. Like Rob, David, Frank, Jerry, Caton, Craig, Don, Mary, Will, Mad, Be Like Water, Arturo, Skaggs, good to see you. Scott, Rod, Ted, Hugh, Nancy, Rob, Cliff, Rongamer, Darren, Mark, Diane, Svinborn, John, and Gary. Yeah, I've been married for a couple years now. My anniversary. Kimberly, my favorite subscriber on there. Thanks for all the subscribers too. Can't do the show without you. It's kind of like PVS, yeah. This show is brought to you by subscribers like you. I do appreciate everybody coming, hanging out with me. The more you watch, the better I can do this. So, DGS2, if you've never seen this before, you're like, what the fudge is this? So this is the Delta Golf Sierra 2, 2-year constant maturity rate, pulled up on TradingView here. You just type it in the box right up here. And then to get the orange line, which is the Fed funds rate, you just push this button right here, compare, and you type in FED FUNDS right there. And then when it pops up, you need to right click on the chart over here and set it to regular instead of percentage or indexed or whatever it might do by default. And when you do that, then it compares the interest rates for both those things. If you thought that the Fed controls the rate, I even had a big argument with Grok about this in the truck. It was parroting mainstream media narratives. And so much for ultimate truth seeking so far. Well, I guess we'll see future versions. But it was just parroting the mainstream media narrative that everything gets set off the Fed funds rate, even though, look at this, the 2-year constant maturity rate, way leading any kind of move up off the lows here. We talk about the Fed raising rates at fastest pace in history and changing anything. 2-year constant maturity rate went up at the fastest pace in history, and then the Fed just chased it up. They overshot, and potentially going to cause a financial crisis by overshooting. I think they should have stopped 2 rate cuts. I mean, basically should have stopped about where they are now. They should have stopped, but hey, nobody asked me. Every time we've gotten, every time since I've been trading that the Fed has gotten above the market rate, financial crisis, even over here, financial crisis. Say, no, that was a virus. Yeah, guess what? It's kind of wild. This is how I was prepared. Like, how did I know it was coming? How did I know how did I know? How do I know? Something's coming. This time's not different. It's just bigger. It's taking longer. Potentially more dangerous. The fallout going to be more severe. Be careful. It's not different. Anyway, moving over, looking at what's moving today, what's shaking, what's baking. So, how do you, just to answer the question, how do you know the Fed funds rate isn't going to change? Because these things are just hanging. There's no change here, no change needed. Everything's status quo. S&P 500, well, I mentioned we might be in a little bit of resistance, and guess what? That was like the biggest pullback we've seen since the middle of July. 2 weeks. Biggest pullback we've had in 2 weeks. Still tiny compared to the move we've made. Be very careful. A retrace, FOMC could be the trigger we see a retrace off of. There's the market getting spicy. Up off the lows. IWM. Let's see. ES overnight, providing us no clarity. We're probably just going to drift into this FOMC meeting. Maybe we do. Maybe we make some moves, but we are under the 15-minute. First move down, retrace. Next move down. Retracing. This is starting to be a downtrend on the 15-minute for ES. That's the S&P 500 futures. How does everybody know how the market's going to open? And we've broken below on the 30 minutes and hit our head on it. Then the 1 hour, we're just sitting on top of it. Last time we hit was over here about a week ago. 4 hour, we haven't visited this since back here in April. So this will be the line of support we haven't visited for a while. 6,300. Could get a very fast flush down to that. That's 100 points off the S&P. 10 points off a SPY. Could be a fast flush. Be careful. Not saying we have to flush, but if we get below that, we get below the 4 hour, the daily is all the way down here at 5,900. That's getting to be 500 points down. And then support on the whole big move up. This is where things get crazy. We go look at this. I'm just going to... let's undo that. Let's go to a clean chart really quickly. That's cool. I don't know how do I close that back up? Oh, there we go. SPX on the clean chart. Let's just remove that. So we've gone from this low down here to this high up here. If we did a 50% retrace, we'd be back down at 5,600. That's 800 points. 618 retrace, 5,400. That's 1,000 points down. 1,000 point correction. It's 800 point correction. You'd be like, nah, the market can't do that. Be careful. All right. We can do corrections of these big moves. This one right here, almost straight up. Nice little correction. Lasted about 10 months or 9 months. Run the fib line on it from that low in COVID all the way up here. Came down not quite to a 50%. It was a 382 retrace. We could get a 382 retrace. What would that look like today? If we're going to continue on the path higher, 382 retrace. Still down 57.60. Still a significant downside there. We're still 600 points down. That was 800. That's 1,000. It's a long way down. This was a vicious long way up. Support back down in here. Got the roadmap line. We got it at the 38.2. This being like, this is just straight up truth here. We have not had barely a pullback. Like, these keep getting smaller, right? There's a pullback. There's a smaller pullback, smaller pullback, smaller pullback. But the extensions, it was really powerful down here, getting less powerful, less powerful, less powerful. Guess what? We're running at an airspeed on the vertical climb. You know what that usually means? Stall. Warning, warning, warning. That went pretty fast. We could do that again. Like, maybe like, no way. Yeah, it could go pretty fast. It could come all the way back down here. So just be careful. The nature of the next pullback, the structure, I should say the structure of the next pullback guides me to whether, if we do kind of a 3-wave and a bounce, probably make some new highs, maybe up close to 7,000. If we do more of a 5-wave down, then we follow that up with a 3-wave retrace. That's a big cautionary sign that we have bigger downside. And the big correction is coming sooner than later. So that's what we're watching. That's what we're watching. Dun, 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 dun. So, yeah. Stairs up, elevator down. Be careful. April, May, June, July. It's 3 months straight up. I mean, it's wise to have protection in place. That's why yesterday I talked about this. It was already up like 10%. That trade I talked about. Here's a support level. If we're going higher, retrace back down in there. Find support, bounce. Be a good place to book profit if you have it when we get there. But if we meet ultimate demise, this is the first move down, the retrace, and this is the second move down, we could actually make it all the way down to this area down here. So be careful. Be careful out there. We do have Apple earnings coming up on Thursday, tomorrow, after the close. Today, after the close, Meta. It has flown, as they say, Icarus flies close to the sun, the wings are melting. This is starting to look a little bit like a bigger correction might develop here. Back to the roadmap line, we'll put it at 640. If we get below that, we could see something all the way back down to the bottom, back down around 500. Cautious here. Don't think they're just gonna like, oh, I mean, they have a history of beating on earnings, but beating on earnings is not always bullish for Meta. They're really good at beating on earnings. Apple's really good at beating on earnings. That's good practice for managing stock price. Microsoft, we have not had a pullback since this initial volatility right there off the lows. Just been straight up grind right into the targets. Be careful. While there is a chance that we just shoot on up to 565, the higher likelihood, more common pattern would be a retrace back to this breakout point or toward that breakout point. Hold some support level in here, possibly. Either the breakout or a 618 here. Turn higher. and go for that. This is more common. You see this more like 70% of the time. 30% of the time, we just do this. Maybe more like 80% and 20%. That's why this target right here, 70% of the time it gets hit. This is down more like 35% that it gets hit. That's just that it gets hit without a major retrace. So be careful out there. That doesn't even talk about how this, this wouldn't be a major retrace. This would just be extending the time it takes to get there. So 35%. So maybe it's more like 15% of the time we just go ripping up, or 10%. So it's a much more rare that we would just rip up there than it is we would pull back and find some support. So that's Microsoft Meta for today. Cool. I closed the. Yeah, cool. I had the earnings thing up for today, and it is gone. Straight up gone. Awesome. Love it. Moving on. Amazon also reporting earnings on Thursday, tomorrow after the close. Unless we get Sparky on FOMC, everything's looking a little bit cooked here. That's looking cooked. Apple looking cooked. Google looking cooked. Meta looking cooked. Even Tesla looking like we're going to do a little bit bigger pullback here. Lower high, lower high, lower high. It's 3 in a row. 4 in a row, really, if you count that one. Lower, 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 lower. Might be in for a little further downside here. Is that A, B, C, D, E? Breakdown, continuation, A, C. It's not a absolutely beautiful correction, but could be that we see something more like this. First move down, that would be this would be the A, this would be a A, B, C, D, E, and then get the last move down. I don't know. Still holding support at 270 area, 265, 270 area on Tesla. That was the first initial reaction off the earnings right there. Got a little reprieve, but we might need another flush. Just looking at the little baby move. That high, that low, this high. Put support if we're just going to do like an echo type thing right there. Right down in this 284 to 293 zone. Right there. So there's lots of setups for potential flush out on FOMC. Netflix still kind of bleeding a little bit here. That's set up for a test of the roadmap line. Looking back at the Russell, just struggling. Hit of the daily roadmap line here is very close. Not even far away. Only about 100 points down. If we get through that, opens up the door for bigger, deeper correction. That's why I hold a 180 put on IWM out to September. CL. Wow, this was red a few minutes ago. Now it's turning green again. We were down here. Got a little sparky. Got to come up, probably, as I mentioned yesterday, probably going to come up here and test the downtrend of highs that we've had cooking for a couple of years. Downtrend. We've tried to poke through a couple times to no avail. Let's see if we can do it this time. If we get through and back test it, that would set the direction to up. But right now, this pattern has me thinking we're going to go test the bottom again, possibly down to 50. If and when we reject, this is a setup for further downside. It's kind of like this one right here where we rejected, came up, didn't even actually get close and went further down. It's kind of what we've done again. We tried to break out, coming back up, reject, further down. That's why a little bit bearish incline on oil right now. Just tends to be the pattern. Try to break out, come up for the retest, and flush out. Try to break out, come up for the retest, and flush out. Same pattern, right? Till the pattern proves it's not going to happen, same pattern. Little bit of pop on the contract rollover. It's not a pop on gold prices. It's a pop on the contract rollover. Still bleeding down. Bitcoin. Dive in, look a little deeper. Looky, looky, looky. That was what I was looking for yesterday, remember? Beautiful. That's what I talked about we needed. You remember that? Didn't quite hit the where I had the alert at 16,750. Still potential to do that. Bounced up. Still have that potential to come down one more time. So it's not all clear yet, but we're knocking on the door. Knocking on the door. Now, this move up is not... See how these highs here and these lows down here, very overlappy. That's not bullish action yet. That's why I say we might get one more flush. Might get one more flush. I need this to be non-overlapping price action when we come up off of that. If we hit that, now it is a move up. It is a higher low. It could just be sloppy, unclear, and we do that. We go up higher. A breakout over at this point. A breakout over 18.5, probably setting the stage to go up to 125,000. Put the alert right at 18.5. Otherwise, still downward pressure. Probably going to see just a little bit lower low here. In the vicinity. ETH being sloppy also. So everything seems to be waiting for FOMC today. And NKD probably going to retest, as I said, probably going to retest the box. If we can hold, turn higher, break out through the prior high that we set last year, last summer, a year ago. If we break through that high, probably going on up here. That'll take everything with it. Global liquidity increasing, expanding. Dollar coming up pretty quickly. Got the two levels in here that we talked about the last few days. So move up, retrace, move up. If we stall right here, which if we turn down on FOMC today after tagging this area, that's bearish. Probably going to make a lower low. Retest the downtrend of lows. If we get sparky and blast up here to the 1618 at the 101 level, that's more bullish. We'll probably see a pullback, hold above that 99 area, hold in there, and go higher again. That's what we're watching. That's what I'm, you know. Dollar yen. This thing's starting to break out. Might see this rally. Can see this thing pop. If you wanted to trade it, that would be a drop on FXY. All right. I use a script and I go pull everything moving $2 more up, put it on the gainers list, $2 more down, put it on the decliners list, and we hunt for potential opportunities, things we could watch and trade and do, and maybe put on the watch list. So Wingstop topped out back here in September. Big correction down to the bottom in April. Maybe like, how are wings part of tariffs? I don't know. I don't know why we would have flushed out here unless it's just throw everything out. And so this has a move up and a retrace to a 50%. Very nice. I like it. Turn off that. So we now have a move up and a retrace to a measured bounce type zone. Not only is this a roadmap bounce on the daily, if you just went with the roadmap trade, we're only looking for 406, 423 on the upside. Not huge numbers. But if this gets continuation and it's bullish reversal off of this correction here, this is continuation back into the trend that we had going up here to get up here. Potential resumption of trend, pullback, continuation would take us 780. Holy bananas. That would be pretty bullish. Could do it. That's a pretty good one. Now, the fact that it's red today, maybe not the best. Gonna have to watch. If you buy back, if you sold puts or bought back here, sitting pretty. And remember that next upside resistance, we may hit that 406 area, retrace, retest the breakouts before we can start pushing even higher. Humana, bucking the trend of UNH. Actually get a little pop. We're still below the roadmap line. Downtrend high, downtrend high, downtrend high, downtrend high, downtrend high. Still downtrend until we can prove otherwise. So I wouldn't try to catch a falling knife. It's been a pretty beat down sector there. Look at year to date. Look at, I don't even know where the healthcare is in here. Right here. Pretty beat down. UNH down 50%. Elevance down 22%. DGX, not bad, up 11%. So if you're going to play in the ones that are doing better. It's funny, Humana, Cigna, not on here. Yeah, definitely a story of have and have nots when you look across that right there. The ones that are doing good are doing good. The ones that are doing bad, might want to stay away from. Health technology. I usually stay out of the healthcare sector. Just throwing that out there. I don't even know which one, where Humana is on here. Maybe it's not on here. I don't know. FTAI. Chopping, TER. It's trying to break out. So this is a potential reversal. This was down. This is coming up, breaking through the roadmap line. If we can retrace, hold, turn back higher, that's what we're looking for right there. FTAI. Be careful. That's lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. If we can start making higher highs, this looks better. Right now we have the small potential to go on up to 140. I thought big picture, after this pullback, we'd get a continuation up to 220 area, 200, 220. But we got to get confirmation there. Garmin. Well, that made a nice little speedy roadmap bounce from that high to this low, back up. 258 upside potential. Looks like we're going to retrace it again before we see. This is kind of healthy price action right here. We get move up, retrace, move up, retrace, move up, retrace, move up. Target. It'd be more like what I expect. VRT. Looks like we're going to push on out. Target up here, 181. Cuervo. Pushed up, retraced. Can we get the continuation? This will be at 4-hour bounce. Oh, not even. Oh, 1-hour bounce. 92, possibly 93 on the upside. Rejecting though. That's a big volatile candle on earnings right there. GNRC. Another volatile candle right there. Seems are we bleeding? No, we're not bleeding down on the S&P. Just Marvell pushed through, retested, pushing on up. If we get through that gap fill, this might be set to go catch up with like some of the performers like TSM. So Marvell has potential. Might see downside on FOMC before we can push through. Hershey. Oh, nice. We're going to have to get above these highs at 210 before confirming that that bottom is locked in here. Coinbase. Be very, very careful here. This is highly, highly likely. I talked about this retesting of the breakout. That's what we're doing. Can come all the way down into the breakout. Then we can go higher. That target up here at 605 area. If we can turn, break back higher. That's a lot of room, like from 455 to 605. Be careful though. If we break down below the breakout, probably coming down here, and that would be a much better place to jump in. So either wait for it to prove it. I'd wait for it to hold support. Like the knife catch, if you buy at 375, you could be at 275 and be like, oh, fudge. I'm $100 underwater. I'm 30% underwater. And then you can be looking at a double up to here. So I just wait for support. Starbucks already giving it back. That's not good. Not good. Might be in for the bearish case. That could have been completing 5 up. Which case we'll get a 618 retrace more than likely. So support right here. I was hoping we could stick that breakout, but nope. Rejection. Rejected the gap fill. VRTL. 2x long on VRT. VRT we already covered, probably going on out. So if you wanted to pick up VRTL, how much could you expect? Let's just do a little math here. Grab this from that high, or from the current price action up to the high, 20% upside. So VRTL, if you were going to trade this, potential 40% upside. So looking at maybe up to 70. ELV, hunting the bottom. How low can she go? Looking for this maybe to get back to 250, where you see all these bottoms right here. It really looks like it wants to go retest that, doesn't it? See if that was really support. I mean, we're coming down here pretty viciously. No bounce, no support, no. I mean, we just sliced through. It's like an A, B, C. We're getting close. We're in the zone. It just looks like it wants to come just a little lower. 258, 260, 250, 260. It's like we just need that one more flush. BGLC. Dumpster fire. Dumpster fire. Be careful. So I chased two main patterns, right? Then I have warning signs like reverse splits. No great bullish stock does reverse splits. This one has a couple of them. That just makes it garbage. Like, don't chase stuff that has reverse splits in it. Like, there's better places to put your money. So the two main patterns I trade, you've seen that roadmap line. Like, I've had it over and over. When price comes up through, finds support, and we turn back higher, break through a 618, that's the first pattern. That's the roadmap pattern right there. Look for that 618 conservative entry and looking for the 1.1448 conservative exit. High probability. Now, you can go for the 1.272. You can go for the 1.618. Those are extensions. Now, the other pattern I look for is kind of an ABC reversal, measured bounce type thing. And a lot of times we see it when we do this and we do this, we'll get a 618 retrace right there. And maybe I should have drawn it with the so it won't just disappear. We get an initial move down, then we get a retrace. We run that 618 and we hit it, then we get continuation that's usually the same size as the first move. You see me draw these over and over. And when it shows up just like this, and it hits the roadmap line, that's really bullish. Now this stock doesn't have that at all. So I'm looking for, and that bullish reversal pattern works the other way too. Like, we can come down, we can get a move up initially and a retrace. Hold that 618 zone in there. And then we get a continuation higher. 1, 2, 3. And we look for, if we're looking for a bullish continuation, it'll go to the 1.618. If it's just a bearish retracement, we get between the 1 and the 1.272. And then we get continuation in the original trend, which is down. Original trend, continuation here. So if we stop here, it's not a reversal. It's just a correction and trend continuation. If we get up to here, usually that is a reversal. We retrace, hold above this level, and then go higher. That's how it works. I look for this over and over and over. Every day, every chart, every time frame. It's fractal in nature. That's how it works. Look right here. 618. 1, 2. Didn't make it 2. Didn't make it here. So coming in, retrace, continuation. That's how it works. First move down, retrace. That one went all the way to 1.618. That's a potential new trend here. First move down, retrace, 1.618. If we retrace and hold below, probably going lower. It's not suddenly a magical point of support. EA, a little bit ambiguous here. Choppy. Look at the bigger picture. Move down, retrace. Was that done? Was it not done? I don't know. We're hitting the top that we've been the top for a long time. I say a long time, I mean all the way back to 2018. We've been working this box. Can easily take a trip back down to the bottom. Failed to break out right there. Now this could be setting up like this because of the overlap here. It doesn't give me high hopes or high, strong feelings that this was bullish and this is a correction with a higher low. It looks like this is all just kind of corrective crap, and this just happened to get a little overexcited, and now we're probably going to do something that flushes down deeper. That would be my primary expectation because all the overlap. Etsy. All right. Same trend, right? Big downtrend. Potential move up. Potential retrace to a 618. So now what are we watching for? There's the low. Here's the high. Here's the low. I'm not very clean and perfect on these. Looking for price. If we're going to be a bullish reversal off this, we got to get to 105. If we come up and stop right here or fail to make it there before we turn down back to the roadmap line, that sets up potential to go lower on Etsy. If we can make it up here, turns the tides, probably going higher long term. All right, hopefully this is helping everybody. Hopefully helping. MVLL, Marvell with 2x leverage. Like I said, if Marvell is going to blast off, like this might be the way to play right here. MVLL. Hog, hey, doing something bullish. This has been beat down and beat down. So we made a initial move up after the trend is down. Initial move up, retrace, held to 618. So what are we watching for? You got to put the fib lines on here. 3.2. Low, high, low. If we stop here, bearish. If we get up here, retrace, hold above that. Basically the roadmap line, bullish. This is the rubber meets the road point for Hog right here. Do we do a 3-wave bearish and keep continuation lower intact? Or do we actually change fortunes, confirm that the bottom's in place, and go higher? It's a coin flip. Like, which way? I don't know. Don't care. Let it prove it. Lending Club. This is one that it was a great idea and poor implementation. So they tried to do peer-to-peer lending. You would go fund an account and blah, blah, blah. But turns out that doing that is ripe for scams. And they went down a lot. Now this looks like we're doing corrective. This was the IPO. Classic corrective action off of IPO. Is this the lowest low? I don't know. Trend down, reverse, deep, not holding any proportions. Lower highs, higher lows. Not really telling me anything about what's coming on this stock. Smaller time frames, move up or retrace. Held to 618. Might be good for a little bit higher move into the 29.30 area. But if we hit that and turn down, probably going lower low. This may go out of business. I don't know, IONS. Biotech Pharma. I just don't see any spiciness there. MOH continuing to flush. Wow. First move down, retrace. Next move down all the way to 618. If we retrace, hold a lower high, this can keep going on back to the COVID lows. This retraces, and we get continuation. That would be what I expect right there. Excel services. Unclear at the moment. We have a move up. Basically held a 618 here. Move down, move up, 618, move down, 618, move up. Probably another 618. That's 3 waves. That's not 5. Bit of a coin flip. If we can break out above these highs, right in there, well, that 4850 area looks good for a continuation up here. If we break down below here, probably coming down here. Repel. Repel immune. That's looking pretty bad. Be careful. This can keep going down. Seagon. Watch out. Another biotech pharma tends to have these dumpster fiery patterns. They don't really make any money, so just operating at losses. Reverse split. Garbage. Ukta has potential to go bullish. Big fat retrace, gap down. That's resistance if we can get up through it. And then when we look at the bigger correction we've done here, from these highs back in 21 to these lows here in 22, if we can get through that 618 zone, we can set up a new highs 400 area. Be careful. I don't know why people love to trade this stock right now. It's not been doing anything for 3 years. Just chopping in this area. It's not suddenly going to break out because we're stuck in this consolidation. It keeps overlapping everything. And it's like you look at this prior high, and then you got this new move up, and you got this retrace, and it overlaps. That's all just overlappy garbage that you can't rely on. Corrective type stuff. Korea keeps grinding this area. Might be good for one more pop to the top. I would be careful. Reverse splits in here. Potential for this to give up. VFC. 1, 2, 3. So we've got this first move up. We got the retrace. Next move up, resistance, puts us up in the 18 area. And stopping at the roadmap line is always bearish. So if that was 3 into the roadmap line, did not hit the 1, continuation lower if we break back down. APNA, Rich Sparkle Holdings, not enough candles to do anything. SMCX, that's 2x leverage on SMCI. So we have this bullish potential to 70, but a major resistance. And it could be a 1, 2, 3, and we get continuation lower, more than likely. This is big move down, big retrace. Big move down. Hate to poo-poo on anybody's parade here, but this is probably going down. Sooner or later. Maybe later. A-Lab. Looks like we're set for a pop to 170. LABU. 3x on biotech. Probably going lower low. This has a long history of going down and down and down and down and down. SRPT. Wow, that fell out of bed. Where's the bottom? Who knows? Logitech. And this one probably going to come back to the roadmap line. So that's potential 5 up complete right here. This is, see this, like first move up, retrace. Then we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a 4, like bigger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Potential 5 complete. Could see a bigger retrace. Or we go bullish. I would be careful there. Cake. If we can break out of this box that we've been beating our head on for years, that'll be positive. I want to see it get on up to this level, maybe retrace and go even higher. If we don't break out of the box and confirm, probably coming back down, maybe even going lower. Big range. All right, things that were down $2 or more in the pre-market. Hunt for opportunities. This probably coming back to the roadmap line. CHKP. Wow. So that was the initial move down, retrace back to the high. We're down in a point where we can potentially find support right here. First move down, retrace, second move down. But this only looks like 1, 2, 3. We may get a 4 that holds below here and a 5 that pushes it down just a little bit more. Where it's done. UTHR. And that's the start of something more sinister, it looks like to me. PANW. Ooh, rejection of the breakout. Ouch. That can go deep. Be careful. STX probably coming back to the roadmap line. Old Dominion probably going lower low. 3-wave up. Lower high in the roadmap line. Continuation lower. Newegg. Boy, that's working on a... Remember, reverse splits, not bullish. That's nasty. For years it's been just bleeding down, down, down. Then all of a sudden reverse. What did they change? I don't think they changed anything. So continuation lower. This is they're bad at managing stock price. That's what we see right here. Back in 2020, reverse split. Here in 2025, markets at all-time highs. They're having to do a reverse split. They're bad at managing stock price as a company. This is not a place to jump in. This stock has not been at 400. That's the side effect of 2 reverse splits. It's not going back to 400. ADP. It's like when people say, oh, you should have bought Apple when it was 10 cents. Apple was never 10 cents. All right. Splits cause it to be 10 cents effectively back then, but it was never 10 cents. APD, potential topped out. I'd watch out for the bigger retrace here. If we break below this kind of double bottom here, potential to go down. Now, if it is bullish, and this was a roadmap retrace, didn't have the 3-wave structure, but if we bust through the 618, tip the odds 334, 338. Visa. No, we didn't. Just dive to the roadmap line. This is bullish. Probably get continuation up to the targets up here. Or MasterCard did. Still got earnings coming up tomorrow morning. EDU. Three-wave into the roadmap line. Continuation lower. Same pattern, just upside down. Three-wave into the roadmap line. That was cool. ETNG. Yeah. The trading view broke. Cool. Save. Cool. probably didn't save anything I drew. Beautiful. 2 minutes. Reset everything. Cool. Where were we? ETNG right there. First move up, retrace. Next move up, stopped at that proportion I've been talking about. Remember how I said, if we stop in this zone, start moving down, bearish continuation. So this is trend down, 3-wave up, into that zone, continuation lower. Not exactly super sparky, magical. 2x long on SoFi, NVO. So here's the back to all the things I've been talking about, right? Despite all the anything you want to talk about, this has been in a downtrend. Moved up, retraced, held the 618. First move up, that just happened to do 3 moves. We look at that 3 moves. 1, 2, 3. We stopped in the zone. That can be corrective. Move down, retrace, potential to go down. Just looking at that right there, that's a corrective move, continuation lower. Now, off of this move, we held the 618 right there. So it could be part of a bigger corrective move that tries to break through, and then we get continuation lower. It's like, how do you know? You don't. You don't know for sure. Like, but if we break through here, probably going here at the minimum, and then watch out. But if we got to here, that would start tipping the odds we're going to be bullish, even though we started out kind of nasty on the reversal. Vape. That's why you never know for sure. Like they can muddy up the pattern. That's what I talk about when the price action is not clear. This one has reverse split after reverse split after 1 for 150. Good grief. So you had like 300 shares, now you got 2. That's taking care of shareholders, right? Boil coming on down to new lows. Red cold. Pop into the roadmap line. FUTU. Retracing back down. Might come back for the breakout here. Might come back to the breakout before we go on up. HSBC. Looking for this to come back down here. C limited. Watch out for this to come back down to the roadmap line. Setups for today for all of you left. Grab the high, grab the low. Should be an entry 63.78. This one's not very spicy, I would say. There we go. Save, please. So 65. And I wouldn't mess with that one. MPLX 1172 1.6. Not great. And it already hit the target. WCN. High, low, potential entry 201. Not great statistics. Waste management. Why bring them if they're not great? I don't know they're not great till I pull it up. So here's one. Not bad. 40, 72, 1.7. Not the best. I mean, it's just an average. It's like that's above 30, so statistically significant. 72, slightly under the average, so kind of a check minus. And then 1.7, just a check. It's just an average one right here. Likely to come on up to 245. This is already in it from back here, waiting for the upside target. YPF. $39 upside target. 20 trades, so not statistically significant. These don't really mean anything, but that being negative would make me decide not to take it. All right, so nothing great today. Bummer. Buys for the day. Let's check out what we got here. S&P, probably going to drift into the FOMC. For channel members, I'll probably do a live stream for FOMC. And we'll see where we get to. Got my fingers on the wrong button. So we look to be stalled out here. We just may churn into the FOMC. And since we don't have any rate change, maybe big tech earnings are what drives us next. Do they disappoint and we retrace, or do they pop and we go higher? Next up, resistance is up here at 65.62. If we just grind up there without a retrace, just makes the bigger retrace potential more likely. Right there. Checking in on my potentially bullish stuff. Potentially bullish stuff. Let's see, Celsius. And back to highs. That has resistance at the 618. UAL, still looking for this to retrace in a wave 2. I drew all this stuff on so many charts, and it keeps removing it. So this potential 5 up complete, looking for the 618 retrace. Potentially back to this area right down here. Nike, potential 5 up complete. I want to see this hold. Click too many things. Give me that. I want to see this hold. Potentially retrace. Before I sold any more puts or anything. Merck. Got the dip. This has been, like I talk about, choppy and overlapping. This move up off the low has not convinced me. Like, I think this may have been the lowest low. But this structure of this move right here, overlap, doesn't give me high degree of confidence that this is ready to break out yet. Now, we did a nice big fat retrace here. Held that 618. If we break through, that could set this up as like, I just had a leading diagonal as a 1. Not awesome, but it's kind of the environment we got. That could be a 2, and then we could be looking for a 3 breakout here. That hit the 618, so the next move could be pretty spicy here. Could see this move up to 96 on the upside. If we can get through that right there. That's what I want to see for bullish. If we stop in this zone and turn back down, that probably means we're going to go lower low than this over here. Somewhere in this zone. That's your 2 paths right there. Like if we stop here, bearish. Stop here, bullish. Then we probably retrace the roadmap line and turn higher. I like that one. Just need to actually do something. DJT, back in the consolidation. Not the strongest pattern here so far. Need this to go retest the roadmap line. Chewy. That's completing the A, B, C right in the target zone. If we can hold it, break back above here, get back above here. That gives us potential for 50 on the upside up here. Got that gap down though. 46. Got the CMG. Chipotle making lower lows. So this one, back to that. This price action here, overlapping, unreliable. This retrace went deeper. So we're probably going to get an extension before we find support. Nature of the beast. Thought that might have been it. This looked nice to have been it. Nope. May come on down 41.85. And that completes the bigger A, B, C. Just took a little diversion over here. Kava. Grinding on that roadmap line, lower highs. I want to see that break through before I get involved in that. Crux. Kind of doing an overlapping thing. Not the most bullish price action there. DG. I want to see this hold the roadmap line area right here. Turn back higher for continuation. DLTR, that one's not even blinking yet. So we've got this first move up, retrace, and we're at a 272. So this is definitely tipping itself more bullish. When we get the retrace, that would be a point where you could load up for potential continuation. It doesn't have to go continuation. We do have another gap down up here, about to contend with. But the bigger upside potential on this one is craziness. Absolute craziness. Talked about that kind of measured bounce potential. Could push this one up to 352. 5 below. Also has a potential bottom in place. Looking for that to potentially go higher. Big A, B, C with a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Went a little deeper than I wanted to see it. Kind of want to see it hold this. Went a little deeper. It's okay. Does pull the target down just a hair though. Yeah. Somewhere around 400, maybe 700, but 400 conservative target. Mountain Vale Resorts not breaking out. Oh dang! I was hoping we could break out. Rejected, holding higher lows, but pushing through. It's not a good sign. I wanted to see this break out and confirm that we're going to break out of this downtrend. Long downtrend of highs from 2021. Etsy, like I warned about, we need to get continuation. Need to get up to 103 on this one. Not just reject down here somewhere. That could mean a lower low. Restoration Hardware. Coming up into the resistance of the roadmap line. That's still lower highs here. Be careful. Gap down. Resistance. So there's a reason why I haven't gone after some of these. You know, damn it. Confirm the bottom. That's why I call it the potentially bullish list, not the bullish list. Home Depot. Same kind of pattern, looking for that 416 continuation. And this has a nested 1, 2, 1, 2. Need continuation up here. Pull back, hold support to go higher. Logi coming back down. And nice is getting a retrace. Want to see that hold a 618. If we're going to do it, if we get below it, that's a warning sign. Get below 159, it's a warning sign. We're going lower low, 146. And Polaris potentially breaking through. Not the cleanest price action, but that's potentially completing a 5 up. Kind of want to see it get a little further. Come back, retest, and turn higher. Delta, potential 5 up complete. May see this retrace back down here. Before we get that continuation up the big levels. Docu, we're just grinding on this roadmap line. We have the gap down on that last earnings. We need to fill that gap right there to get the continuation higher. Now, there is potential that this was first move down, A, B, and we go C. So this is not lost on me. Very cautious here. There is resistance, pretty significant, right in the middle of that gap down. You may see that pop up there, reject, and go lower. So I'm cautious on that one. It does look incomplete on the upside there. Like we're potentially coming off the reversal here. A, B, C. We got up right close to that 1618, so I expect higher. This is that retrace I would expect. We get continuation, and that continuation take us up to like 158 possibly. Potentially really bullish, but we'll see. WPD, look at that. Coming up into the resistance. If we stop right here, that's bearish for continuation lower. If we can get up here, bullish for continuation higher. Rocket Lab, looking for that retrace to complete. Then we'll see what happens. Like this is starting to look like 5 up can be complete. We would need a retrace back into this 30 area here. All right, that's kind of some highlights there. I'll hit some more later. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back again tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, 9:15 tomorrow. We'll do it all over again.